Right. So we ended up with two guys that we're concerned about injury-wise here. TJ looks like he has a fibula fracture, which will take him out for the rest of the season here. And then Ozzy sounds like he has a patella tendon, which will likely do the same thing for him. So we'll see what those guys are like tomorrow, just to be sure. But it doesn't look good for either one of those guys. Man, it goes without being said. That's just an incredible job by all the people in this building. You know, players, coaches, support staff, to do what they just did with the stakes as high as they were, and knowing that it's win or go home at this point. Down 21-3 at halftime, and defense bowing up like they did in the second half with a number of 3-and-outs, and then the offense coming to life, and finding a way to get us enough points in the fourth quarter there. I think that's 25 points in the fourth quarter was a huge deal, and it's really who those guys are now at this point. We got a group of guys that just they don't waver. The odds are stacked against us, and despite the fact we don't like that score at halftime, nobody does. No one envisioned the first 30 minutes going that way. And yet, we just keep plugging along, and we keep fighting, and we've proven that this year. That's who we are. That's what we do here at this point. So, with that being said, I'll go ahead and open it up.
And you've seen this all season. To see it again tonight, are you just amazed by what this team can do?
Yeah, I think it's our identity here at this point, and some people say it's not sustainable. I don't know. It's the takeaways are, that's who we are on defense, and, on offense, it's explosive plays. That's kind of what we've done all year long, and coming up in big moments. And as a team, it's just resiliency and knowing that late in the fourth quarter, that's really when we're at our best as a football team. So we'll keep striving to be better earlier in games and starting faster and all that. But that's it gives us something to work towards. But I can't be any more proud of this crew than I am right now.
When your team was down 21-3 at half, and obviously you've been in these positions before throughout the season, but understanding the stakes, what was your message to your players?
Well, the one thing that we had done during training camp was we had shown the film of the Atlanta and New England game, and the Super Bowl from, was that 2016? I can't remember what year that was, but we have two players on our roster that were part of both those teams. Grady was with Atlanta, and Joe Thuney was with New England, and it was just great to get perspective from both of those players of how that game went down. And I think it's just a good lesson to be learned that it's 28-3 in the middle of the third quarter, and yet the game still being played, and there's a lot of time left. And that was my message to the group, was just reminding them that this has been done before, and rather than saying woe is me and oh crap we're in a hole, it's more, this is a great opportunity for us to turn this thing around into a game that we'll never forget, and that's what they did.
Is that as emotional as you've seen Caleb this season, and how did you and him get on the same page?
Emotional during the game or after the game?
During the game, he was extremely emphatic on the sidelines and very vocal. Yeah,
it's something that we'll talk about. I think he and I both, we want to try to be as stoic and steady for our guys as we can be. And, I'll talk to him and see if he felt like he could have handled anything any better than what he did. But, we all came in with high expectations on how this game would go. We certainly didn't think, we'd have 4 possessions in the first half and only have 3 points to show for it. And so you do get a little bit disappointed when something like that happens, and yet that you're going to have opportunities down the road as well, in the second half, which we did. So as always, Caleb came through for us. He made some big-time throws in some critical situations. Guys made some big catches. Guys up front protected. You get in that spot where you're down a little bit, and you got to throw it a little bit more, and you need the big guys to bow up and give us a clean pocket. And it took the entire offense to get that job done.
The one play at a time kind of mantra. I know you said that at halftime, just one play at a time. Is it hard in a playoffs atmosphere when you're down that much to get your guys to stay in that, to believe in it, and what allows this group to buy in and believe?
Yeah, well, I mean, every team's different, but certainly it seemed to resonate with those guys, and they did a great job. I mean, the only way you come back from a deficit like that is one possession at a time, trying to get more points on the scoreboard, continuing to hold them and getting the ball back for the offense. Special teams played a major factor in this game as well throughout. And so, I mean, you got no other choice. You're not going to get it all back all in one shot. And so, you just keep plugging along. And I think we had a couple field goals to get us going a little bit. And then the touchdowns eventually, broke the dam and ended up coming up big for us.
Ben, what was different about your defense in the second half?
It's something I'll have to look at if we're doing anything different. I don't think schematically we weren't. We're sticking to the plan, but I do think our guys were certainly doing a good job getting off the field on third down. We weren't doing that a whole lot in the first half. We had some opportunities, and it's a really good offense on third down, and they certainly were in the first half. And that was kind of the story there for most of the game, I thought.
But it's obvious you won a playoff game in this manner. It's obvious you're going to be pretty excited. We don't see that kind of emotion from you at the buzzer as we did today. It's just, again, the obvious of winning a playoff game.
Yeah. There was probably a little bit more noise coming out of their building up north to start the week, which we heard loud and clear, players and coaches alike. So this one meant something to us.
Was there a concern in the third quarter when you finally forced them to punt to settle for the field goals when you're in the red zone? You're thinking, you're going to run out of time if you don't convert those into touchdowns? Or?
Man, I'd be honest with you, I can't think back at every possession right now. So I can't. Maybe tomorrow I can reflect a little bit more on particular things like that. I apologize.
Austin Loveland's really come along second half of the season. He just had the second best postseason game over rookie tight end in NFL history. When did you know the light bulb was going on for him? And then how have you been able to change how you use him to kind of get this big performance here in the second half?
Well, he's a guy that when we drafted him, he was still coming off the injury, and so it took us. He really missed the springtime, and then training camp. You're trying to be smart in terms of how you're acclimating him, not just to the offense, but physically, making sure his shoulder's good to go. And so it did take a little bit of time before we built that trust with him. Early in the season, you play a Flores defense, and he makes it a little bit more challenging to get the tight ends the ball sometimes. It's hard to dictate where the ball goes against him sometimes. And so a little bit of a slower start early in the year, and then it's just kind of picked up and it's clicked for us. And so I know Caleb has an immense amount of trust in him. He's a guy that he's one of the first ones in the building every single day. He's always studying his playbook while he's eating breakfast. He's always the last one off the practice field doing the jugs machine. He's been the model of consistency, which for a rookie, speaks volumes. And so as a coaching staff, I know we really believe in him, and he's really just scratching the surface of what he's going to become.
And Caleb got off to a slow start today, passing-wise. How did you see him kind of just stick with it and persevere?
Yeah, well, I mean, we get down like we do, and you kind of for it. Well, we're going to have to throw it a little bit more, and if anything, that probably gets them into more of a rhythm, And so, it's a balancing act as a play caller, because I do feel strongly about our running game and the guys up front and our running backs, and it's been a big part of our identity on offense. So, but at the same time, I do love seeing Caleb getting that rhythm and that confidence up, and the more opportunities he has, normally the more explosive we become on offense as well. So. It was just one of those things. I think he just started feeling it there in the fourth quarter and made some big plays for us.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you.
Caleb, can you take us through the range of emotions that you felt throughout the course of this game? And it was actually pretty impressive to watch how vocal you were on the sideline with your teammates.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I was calm. Obviously some frustrating moments. Us just not doing our job. Us, not focus on the details. Us, those type of things that in these games you can't have. And so that was the frustrating part. That's where my frustration. That's where some of the early in the game, kind of me being vocal was coming from, the anger and things like that. Just because it wasn't guys out there not giving effort and things like that. It was just guys just not being on where they need to be at the right time and things like that. And so, we're going to go back. We're going to watch the film. We're going to fix it. But the great thing is we're moving on to the next round, and so we have a shot to be able to do that. And so, being able to stay calm through it, obviously use the frustration, being able to communicate with the guys even through the frustration so that when the moment comes up, we hit and we show up in those moments so we can go win the game.
Caleb, we've talked all season about how different this offense has been for you.
Yep.
Play calling, the 25-yard, the pass to DJ Moore at the end.
Mm-hmm.
How well did the call work for you?
Yeah, it was a perfect call. We end up throwing a screen early in the game, and so it sets it up, to the same side, and so it sets it up, and then, being able to have that play call that we worked for, I think, the past 3 or 4 weeks, and just didn't use it in those other games, and then, in the right moment at the right time, Coach calls it just as he does, and the guys did a great job selling it. Obviously, DJ made a great catch. Just put the ball out there for him to, go out there, make a catch for us, and go win the game.
When did you see it? And what goes through your mind this split second?
Yeah, once we lined up, I actually knew that we were about to hit it. Just off the demeanor of the guys on the other side of the ball, just had a feeling that was going to be the one. And like I said, the guys did a great job. O-line did a great job blocking. The guys did a great job over there selling the fake, and then obviously DJ going up the sideline.
You said before that when the game's on the line, you want to be the one with the ball in your hands. But what's it like watching from the sideline when the defense is out there and you have Jordan Love marching down the field at the end of the game?
Pure belief. That's all you need. And you got belief in the coaches that they're going to call the right play at the right time. You got belief in the players that are on the field that are going to make the right play at the right time. And so the belief, all I said was to guys, you don't need to be Superman. You don't need to go and do anything crazy. You just got to go out there and focus and do your job. And those guys looked me in the eyes and said, "We're going to make it happen." That's what they said to me. And so the belief was there, the trust was there, and they went out there and made the plays when it counted.
When you came to the Bears, you talked about changing the history, rewriting your own history.
Mm-hmm.
One of the negative histories here has been this rivalry.
Yep.
What message do you think that you sent to the Packers this season?
Yeah. We're here. And I'm gonna be here for a while is my plan. And so, be here with Coach, win a bunch of games, be in these moments, and come out victorious. That's the mindset for right now. This year, that's also a mindset for the future.
The off-script ball you hit to Rome on that
fourth down.
Yeah.
Yep.
What did you see? How to make that play?
Yeah, we ended up having like a looper or a blitzer. I haven't obviously gone back and watched it yet, and he ended up breaking through. And I felt the edge. I could have got around, and I knew where the play was going, and so I wanted to go in that direction with Rome, and just didn't have enough time to be able to sit there and throw a ball in the pocket. And wanted to go in that direction because I saw the space before when I was dropping back, and so I went in that direction. And honestly, just understand it's fourth down. I gotta put the ball in play. Rome went and made a great catch, adjusting to the ball. I threw him upfield. I knew, I think 25 was trailing him, and so put it upfield a little bit. It creates an awkward angle for him and makes it a little bit easier catch for Rome.
Maybe you said you knew the game was over when you guys hit that pass. What was your mindset when you converted there?
Yeah, go win the game. That was my mindset. That drive and the drive before, that was my mindset throughout the drive. That was my mindset in that fourth down. And it's fun having that belief in your guys, from your guys, and also from Coach. Coach said in the headset, "I need you right here, and go make a play, kid." And we went out there and we did just that.
Caleb, how's your ankle?
My ankle's good. It was I ended up landing on his foot, and so my ankle was a little bit higher off the ground. I would say I have pliable ankles because I work on that, just making sure I don't have any bad ankle sprains and things like that. So it was a little bit higher off the ground, and I ended up landing wrong, and felt like my ankle bone touched the ground, but I haven't gone back and seen it. Yeah.
Caleb Ben talked about Colston Loveland just barely scratching the surface of his potential.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like over the past few weeks you have really started to form a bond with him. What do you think's changed from the beginning of the season to now, and how has he become that for you?
Yeah. We got a home run with him, and that's something the coach said the other day to me. We were, sitting in his office, and everybody goes back to draft night, and why did we get Colston Loveland? Why did we do this? And why did we do that? And it's Colston Loveland. You know what I mean? That's who he is. He's one of the hardest workers on his team. He's there late. He's there early. His body language when he's on the field, all of that is I'm excited for what's to come. I'm excited for what we got, to show for these next couple of weeks, and then what's to come in the future for our trust, our bond, seeing different route concepts and being able to see different defenses and just honestly be on the same page, 99% of the time. I'm excited.
On the halftime Ben's message that this could be legendary. We can make this. How did that resonate with you? Just hearing what his message was at that point, considering you guys were down 21-3.
Yeah, it was it's the only option we had. Was to go out there and be legendary, to go out there and execute, to go out there and do our part on the offensive side, defensive side, and special teams. Have each other's back. Go win the effing game.
Caleb, Ben mentioned that hearing the noise from the Packers leading up to this weekend. Did you notice that? Was that something you took exception to or motivation from?
Yeah. They wanted us. That's what I heard. They wanted it, and they got it.
Caleb, do you have a sense of how special this is for the fans in the city?
Sort of. In the sense of, obviously, I'm not out in the city, and I'm not out, doing all those different things. But on game day, here tonight was special, and you could feel it. You could feel it from the fans. You could feel it, the energy. On that last drive, delay a game, false start, clock running low. It was chaos because of them. Obviously, our guys out there making plays and stuff, but they were a huge part of it. They were a huge part of this win. They were a huge part of where we're at today. And so we want to keep that going. Like I said, we want to make them proud. We want to make them, happy to be Bear fan. And we're going to try and keep this going.
What's that experience like for you after the game and just this year having the fun back in football?
Yeah. Football is always fun. It's playing football is fun. Playing football is fun. Losing isn't. And so, just having this year so far, it's obviously a little bit more fun when you win. But this year has been a special year. The guys that we have in this building is unmatched. The brotherhood, the bond that we have is unmatched. And so we want to keep this going. That was my message to the team after the game. We got to fix whatever we got to fix. We got to start faster. We got to play better. We got to execute more. If we want to reach the goal, we want to reach. And it starts with, and happy to advance. But, it starts with tomorrow. It starts with, whatever day we come back. Because we have a goal in mind that we want to reach, and it starts with being 1-0.
Many have been asked about Colston already, but it seems like he's more and more your go-to in these high-leverage situations.
Yep. Yeah. High leverage situations, I believe in all my guys. OZ for the touchdown, he hasn't had many catches. With other guys playing a little bit more. OZ in that moment, DJ at the end, high pressure moment, makes a great catch. It's all the guys, and that's why all their stats are so even is because I believe in trusting those guys. I believe in trust that they're going to go out there and make a play for us at whatever moment comes. And whenever it happens, it happens. But I trust those guys. I believe in those guys with all my heart.
Caleb, your friend told us that he showed you guys the 28-3 Super Bowl
Yep.
between Atlanta and Patriots. And
Yep.
you heard from Joe Tooney, who was on the Patriots team. You heard from Grady Jarrett, who was on that Atlanta team.
Mm-hmm.
What effect did that have on the locker room? Did that kind of play into this mentality that you guys have, that you can come back from anything?
Yeah. We've got the belief and faith. And that was something Coach brought up in the locker room is, there's been teams in this situation. We've been in this situation kind of all year, and that's the frustrating part because we're such a good team, and we're such great coaches and such great players. But to be in those situations and to come out victorious, it's no fluke. It's no this happened. We're lucky. We've done it multiple times this year. It's been proven. To be, for us to be a great second half team. And, in this, you can't get behind every game. In the playoffs, you can't get behind every game. You can't, have the miscues and things like that. And so we're going to go back and fix it. But if the game comes down to it, we're going to keep fighting. If the game comes down to the last play, if the game comes down to the last 2 minutes, I believe in us. And that'll keep going forever.
Caleb, when you hit DJ, I know obviously you're celebrating with your teammates, but do you look up around the stadium for a second or two just to see what's happening up there after that?
Yeah. You obviously enjoy the moments. You obviously enjoy being able to go out there and have those moments and scoring those touchdowns because you look up in the crowd and it's just electric. It's exciting. The energy from there and that point. I mean, they were rowdy. They were on it, and like I said, they were key in this game.
You realize, historically, not a lot of playoff matchups between the Bears and Packers.
Yep.
For years to come.
I'm in it, so it's hard for me to, I would say, fully recognize and things like that. But I do have an idea that. It's big for the city. I think, last time that this game was played was a long time ago in the playoffs, and it's only our third time, I believe they said, being able to go versus the Packers in the playoffs. And so, it's exciting. It's fun. But, for us, it's just another game.
Have you been on a team like this that's never out of a game, especially when the original game might go sideways? Yeah, always. I've been on some. I've had some games throughout my career, some years throughout my career where, you gotta come back and go win the game. I've done that. I've been a part of it, and I always feel, with me out in the field, I feel pretty confident that until the clock hits zero, we got a pretty good shot.
You've always been very, very confident. Has
Ben
made you more confident this year? Just the
I would say. He's helped with the confidence because it's you go out there and you read the defense and you believe. Obviously he has a track record of being one of the best offense coordinators, and right now he's for me he's top candidate for head coach of the year and things like that. But you go out there and I have these meetings with him, and our trust and our relationship, our bond has grown, and so when you have that trust and you got somebody that has your back, has your six. It's the confidence goes to the roof, and then you have the meetings. You have such belief in his play calling. You have such belief in your team, and who's out there on the field with you. Confidence goes to the roof, and then like I said, you have these meetings with him, and he tells you this play is for this, and just plan his offense, his scheme, and trying to play it well, keep the offense on the field, all these different things. And you go out there and you work so hard and you hit these plays and all these different things, and confidence just keeps growing. And so I would say yes, he's helped with the confidence for us as a team, us as an organization, but also myself.
Hey, guys, can you describe the moment when the clock hit zero? What that felt like?
Yeah, it felt great to have my first playoff win with these guys. It felt great being able to fight the way we did. And come out victorious, and it feels great to be able to move on to the next game next week, and be able to focus on that game. And other than that, man, I'm tired. I'm ready to go home and go to sleep. the Bears. Thank you, everybody.
Bears.